Hello my beautiful people, welcome to your year ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, I just want to say at this start of a brand new year 2021, a massive, huge, heartfelt thank you from me, from my heart, literally to yours, just to say a huge thank you for everything that you guys have helped me build, everything that Reydiant Reality has become. Reydiant Reality has had an amazing, phenomenal year. And I really believe that is down to all of you guys who have made it possible. You know, coupled with my hard work and your love and support, there has literally been it's been like the sky has been the limit. And I know that sounds really cheesy and corny, but it really is true. And I just wanted to put this at the beginning of all videos just to let everybody know that I'm truly, truly grateful, and I feel so much love and gratitude from every single one of you for the love, the support, the likes, the shares, the subscribes, those of you amazing people who, you know, my inner sanctum, the members. It's been really, really an amazing year, and it's been an honor as well to be of service to everybody as best I possibly can. There is so much more to come. As I'm sure you can imagine, there's always something cooking in the cauldron with Rafi, and if you've been with me long enough, you know that that is the case. So I just wanted to say that a massive thank you so much for all of your love, all of your support, all of what you have helped create Reydiant Reality, or what you've helped to make Reydiant Reality into. I started this, you know, this channel, and you guys make it. That's really the kind of, you know, the way that I see it, and I truly, totally believe that that is true. So with all of that said, as always, I wish you an abundance of all that love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance for the new year ahead. Make 2021 your best year yet. Regardless of what happens, there are always ways to strive, there are always ways to thrive, and there are always ways to succeed. All you need to do is ask the universe, and they will be available to you. With that said, let's get into your 2021 tarot. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Hi Libra, welcome to your 2021 overview, tarot overview with me, Raphael. Before we start, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your tarot overview for 2021, you have actions that you should pursue, your money and materials, your career and your business, love and relations, and you have your warning card. So let's get straight into it. For your actions that you should be pursuing, you have the star card. So whether this is getting online, creating an online business, taking an online course, these are all things that are worth your time. Remember, the star card has a lot to do with the internet. It has a lot to do with online communities, online, you know, anything online really. The other thing with the star card as well, this is about committing yourself this year to finding your own inner peace and trusting yourself like never before. Whenever we see the star card, we're always talking, so yes, it has like the Aquarian sort of internet aspect to it, but this is about peace, it's about hope, it's about joy and optimism, very similar to the star card. The only difference is to the sun card, the only difference is the star card is more about hope, it's about trust, and one of the deepest sort of energies of the star card is literally having trust and faith that all of your hopes and dreams are, you know, are possible, that these things can all shape up for you, which is absolutely brilliant. I love this for you, and I think this is a year where you are not only going to come into a stronger sense of who you are, but you're going to be able to push on with a lot of your plans, maybe by connecting with or finding your tribe, maybe by reaching out to people online. Maybe this is a year where you are creating an online course or an online community of some sort, but either which way, this is you launching into a brand new era. For your money and materials, you have the Devil card. So when it comes to money, this is a year where you're getting hold of whatever your personal vices are. Where is it that you are maybe a bit frivolous with your resources? Where is it that you waste money? This is a year for you to really get a handle on your spending patterns, on what you put your money into that is maybe not good for you, or maybe You know, one of the things with Libras is you guys tend to be overly giving. Maybe this is a year where you're addressing that imbalance and saying, right, okay, you know what? Usually I tend to give too much. Usually I tend to to be overly giving, or maybe that's, you know, and maybe that's become an unhealthy cycle for you. For your materials, so this could be like your physical home and dwelling. The Devil card kind of suggests here as well that this could be you doing something or working on something that you've been planning or putting off for some time when it comes to the home. So this could be something structural that you've wanted to do to the home, maybe something that you've said to yourself time and time again, oh, you know, I'll get it fixed, I'll get it fixed, I'll get it fixed. This could be that time, this could be that year where you actually go ahead and do that. And then finally, for your physical health and vitality, this is a year to look after your bones and the structure of your body. So what I always say to people is, if you've got anything of an ailment like this, I would say, I mean, I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice, but what I usually say to people is go to a chiropractor, go to an osteopath, go and see somebody that deals with literally the physiology and the anatomy of your body. Like this is a worthy use of your time, your energy, and especially of your resources this year. For your business and your career, you have the Judgment card, right? So there's a lot of change on the work front. There's a lot of change happening, and this is effectively, this is about you stepping forward, and also not only stepping forward, but making some very finite decisions when it comes to business and career. So for those of you that are employed by a company or a boss, etc., the Judgment card kind of says this is where you are having effectively like the final showdown. So this is could be a year where you are kind of, you know, not giving your boss an ultimatum, but certainly starting to understand, right, okay, am I going to be able to go any further with this company? Am I going to be able to do any more growth here? And if not, what, you know, then it's time for me to walk. It's time for me to go on to something better. This could be the year where you decide to make a big change when it comes to work. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, the Judgment card kind of suggests that you could be revamping something this year. So maybe something like this could be you recreating something, or maybe, you know, like you have a lot of upcycling, like vintage, all of that sort of stuff. There's something that is old or from the past could be revisited, renewed, upcycled, reupholstered, all of that kind of energy. If you're working on doing that, or bringing something old school into the new school and finding a way to marry those two things, this could be a phenomenal year for you. It absolutely could. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. For your love and relations, you have the Chariot card. So love looks good this year, all right? But this is, for those of you that are single, you are definitely not looking to be tied down. You're definitely not looking to do anything too concrete. Remember, the Chariot card is fast, it's vibrant, it's movable and changeable and excitable. And 2021 is a 5-year. This is a year for sensuality, sexuality. It's a year to really engage in your 5 senses. And when it comes to love, relationships and connections, this could be a year where you are wanting to see and sample a little bit of everybody and anybody maybe. So it kind of feels to me like this is more of a single vibe year for a lot of you that are single. I don't necessarily feel that this will be the year that you choose to settle down, because the Chariot it's too much of a fast and movable energy, which, you know, suggests that there could be a lot of connections and a lot of interest, right? You could be feeling like, wow, you know, I've got all these options, but not necessarily seeing that one in the crowd that you think, yeah, you know what, this is my long term, this is my ride or die. For those of you that are partnered in long-term relationships, the Chariot card, it really suggests that you are not only, I don't think it's a case of you guys finding even footing. I actually feel like it's the opposite. I think that in the best way, this is about you guys upsetting the apple cart. I think this is going to be the time where you kind of say to yourself, you know what can we do to shake things up? What can we do to get more fun, more excitement in, you know, by way of the relationship? It could also be where you guys are thinking about doing some sort of traveling together. And I'm not talking about small travel, I'm talking about like far distant travel, and a lot of it, you know, or it could be like a succession of small trips that you do, but just on a consistent basis throughout the year. Either which way, I think the love life looks great. I'm just, like I said, for those of you that are single, I don't really feel like this will be the year to settle down. And then finally, for your warning card, you have the Emperor card, right? So the first warning that I want to give you this year, if you are traveling by, I mean, and this is for a lot of people, right? If you're traveling by car, especially if you're traveling by, you know, bus or anything like that, just be really cautious this year. I'm not saying that you can't travel by those methods, it's just that you want to be extra cautious this year, more than you would usually, let's say. When it comes to any and all of your dealings, this would not be a year for you to do anything that would be considered morally or legally grey, because the chances are it will come back to bite you in the butt. Remember, the Emperor card can represent, you know, police officers, you know, legal professionals, etc. So just something for you to be aware of. And also, as a warning, your Emperor card basically says this is not a year to challenge authority. All right, so it's interesting that you would have the Judgment card there, because this is about you kind of saying, you know what, I'm not going to turn it into a big thing. I will just say, I don't feel like I'm getting, you know, what I'm worth where I am, so I'm just going to leave. If you try to turn it into a big thing, the chances are it will turn on you at some point. All right, so just something for you to consider. With that said, that's your overview for the year ahead. Stay tuned and we will get into your 12-month forecast. Take care and I'll see you in a moment. Before we start, I would like to bless. We'll start again, shall we? Hi Libra. Hi Libra, welcome to your year ahead Hi Libra, welcome to your 12-month breakdown with me, Raphael. Before we start, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So let's have a look, see what the year ahead has in store for you. Remember, your first card out, it's kind of like a precursor to all of the wonderful things that are shaping up for you for the year ahead. January, you have the World card. This is actually, in this deck, it's actually called the Universe, which is beautiful, right? So this is going to be a very powerful year of change for you. This is going to be a powerful year where something in your life is changing, something is evolving, and it's always changing, it's always evolving, right? So are we. That's kind of the nature of life. But the Universe or the World card always suggests something is coming full cycle. You come into this new year with a very strong sense of yourself. You're coming into this year with a very strong idea of what it is that you want to create, and more importantly, this sees you utilizing the abilities or the skills that you've gained up until this point in order to make those things happen. The fact that you've got the Universe card as your first card out, this is kind of a precursor to say that something about your status this year, whether this is your employment status, your marital status, whether it's your parental status, something about you is going to change. The way that you are seen, the way that you interact with the world this year is coming up for review, which is amazing, right? Because and in some respect as well, I always believe that whenever we see the World card, unless it literally represents the actual world or some big large community, we always kind of have a hand in what it's going to become, right? Because we're conscious of who we are and who we were. So to couple that, look at this, you've got the Nine of Pentacles. For some of you, this could literally be an image change, right? So this could be you completely rewriting how you look, you know, what you kind of think and feel about yourself. This could also see you really paying attention this year to the way that you present yourself, or the way that you present your work, the way that you present your information, the way that you present yourself to the world. Now, the Nine of Pentacles is a beautiful card. It also suggests that January could be a time where you are either trying to spend more time out in nature on a really practical sort of mundane level, or it could be a time where you are dedicating yourself to the refinement of yourself. So this could be a time where you're choosing to kind of smooth off your own rough edges, if you have any. You know, Libras tend to be quite refined anyway, so we shall see, right? The other thing with this as well, your Nine of Pentacles very often represents that moment where you stand back and kind of say, wow, you know what, I've been working really hard. So yeah, this is great. I think this will be a time as well where you really are drawn to things that are naturally very beautiful. You know, just like a Libra. For February 2021, you have the Devil card, right? So February is going to highlight something to you, and this is very likely to be about where you are, where you're really holding yourself back, right? You could be presented with something in February that really makes you think, okay, wow, you know what, this needs to be changed, this needs to come up for review, right? The other thing with the Devil card as well, whenever you see this, because it is Capricorn ruled, sometimes it has that element of wanting something to be perfect, or wanting something to be more than it actually is, right? This is about that ability to kind of hammer something home. You know, it's like, well, the square doesn't fit the circle peg, right? The square peg doesn't fit the circle. Well, you know what? I'm going to hammer it into place, and likelihood is it's either going to break or it's going to get stuck in the hole. This could be a month where you're kind of pushing ahead with things in that way. Try to avoid that, you know, look at what actually is rather than what you want it to be. And that's coupled with the Two of Swords, right? So one thing that I will say to you, February could be a very confusing time when it comes to the intuition. And this isn't to say that you're seeing things or anything like that, but it could be a time where maybe you could be feeling a little bit of analysis paralysis. You could really be picking things apart to the absolute nth degree, you know, and you could be putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 9, you know, not even 5, like literally 9. Like you could be going really overboard, and it's because you're really overly delving into something or picking it apart. And I think it's kind of one of those moments where February, you want to say to yourself, it's not that deep, all right? It really isn't. Maybe you're making more out of it than is actually there. This could also see you at odds with somebody as well. February, I will say this to you, it looks like you have a big decision to make. Now, for some of you, that big decision is going to be linked to your status. Maybe you decide to retire early. You know, if you're already retired, this could speak to what do I do now? You know, I've had the enjoyment, I've done all of the, you know, I'm just going to chill and put my feet up and watch TV and, you know, mill about at my leisure. But now I need something more fulfilling for my time. If you are, you know, if you're in a long-term relationship, this could be you making the decision. And for a lot of you, you know, this could be a very fertile month, but one thing that you probably want to be aware of here is some of you might be at odds with whether you want to become parents or not. And this is something that might be coming up. Maybe you and a partner, if you have a partner or you're in a relationship, you could be clashing on. Remember as well, February is going to see the first of the Mercury retrogrades this year. The Mercury retrogrades are going to be taking place around February, June and October. And the reason I say that is because the Mercury retrogrades are all happening in the air signs this year. So that's roughly where you find the air signs. Obviously there's a bit of an overlap. So this will be the first one of the year, and I think that that's going to cause you a little bit of analysis paralysis, and it, you know, obviously shows up in the way that communication is here, because sometimes the Two of Swords is literally what's the word, an opposition between people. Like I said, February is going to see a tough decision having to be made. So for March, you have the Judgment card. All right, so this is nice. March is where you're going to finally feel things moving ahead. A lot of this stuff is very preliminary stuff or foundation setting, whereas March you're actually forging ahead with something. It could also see a little bit of a blast from the past. March could see something or someone come back into the fold, and it might see you kind of like, okay, wow, well that throws a little bit of a spanner in the works. Not sure what to do with that or them. And you couple this with the Page of Swords. So one thing that I can definitely tell you will come up here, you will probably be hearing from an old colleague or an old boss. For some of you, you might actively be seeking out a previous employer, somebody that you've worked with. For those of you that are business owners or entrepreneurs, etc., this could be literally you seeking out an old client, you know, to align with them in some way, shape or form. The other thing is as well, March looks like there's an important meeting or connection or collaboration that's coming up. But I will say this, because you're off the back of that Mercury retrograde in February, it might be that negotiations are either a little bit slow or they really do need to be fine-tuned. So maybe in February this is a part of what comes up, but it's not going to be really until March that you start to solidify that. In April, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Love this, right? So April's so far looking pretty good, because this is where things will lighten up for you. The first quarter of the month looks to be, I mean, not so much January, but the first quarter of the month as a whole looks to be a little bit slow going, all right? Whereas April, things are starting to speed up. This is where the synchronicities and the luck are finding you. It could also be a time where you are really starting to get off the day-to-day routine, or maybe you're starting to step off of the what's the word, you know, off the well-worn track, right? This is you going in maybe a different direction with something. And it comes up with the Temperance card. So for a lot of you, travel could definitely feature. April is a month where it looks like you're taking some sort of a gamble, which is not a bad thing at all, right? April looks like a month where you are kind of saying to yourself, right, you know what? This is either going to pay off and it's going to be amazing, or it's just going to fall flat. But either which way, I'm going for it. April is going to see you very gutsy. It's going to see you really saying to yourself, you know what? I think it's time to go ahead with something. I think it's time to move ahead with this. You've got the Wheel of Fortune, which offers you the luck, the abundance, and also the synchronicities. You then have the Temperance card, which is kind of giving you that magnetic energy. So April's going to be a power month for you. There's a lot of magnetic energy. There's a lot of luck and dynamic energy behind you. Use it to your advantage. Now, the good thing about this is 2021 is a 5-year, right? So a 5-year is movement, travel. It's fast, it's vibrant, it's sexy, it's sensual, it's pleasurable, it wants pleasure. One of the warnings with a 5-year, it tends to be a lot of hedonism, right? So we're going to see this. I've said to some of the other signs as well, watch out for this. Whatever your personal vices may be, February might be a time where you want to watch out for these as well. Just with that Devil card. I say this because I think we're going to see this across the board. So we might see, a celebrity or even a politician lose their head. All kinds of scandals and, all that kind of stuff. So it's just something to be aware of for yourself as well. With April, the energy looks brilliant, but again, don't go overboard. If you are making a gamble, don't bet the house, all right? Don't put the car on the roulette table, all that kind of stuff. Take gambles, take risks, things that are going to grow you, but don't be reckless. 2021 as a 5-year could probably convince a lot of people that they're more invincible than they actually are. So you just want to be aware of that. But it's a great year it's going to be a great year for technology advancement. It's also going to be a great year for medical advancement. And the energy of the number 5, it wants new things, not the tried and tested. We've done all of that. We want something new, and sometimes at any cost. All right. So just energy to be aware of. For May, you have your card, the Justice card, right? So this is nice. May sees commitment coming into the fold, into the picture. This is going to see you really paying attention to what you put your name to, what you're signing, what you are, what you're really going ahead with, what is becoming legally binding for you as well. May is going to highlight. And this comes up with the Queen of Cups. So a water sign person, a Pisces, Cancer or Scorpio, is is very likely to feature for you around May. This could be as well, for some of you, this is, you know, going in for that commitment. Maybe you decided, you know, up here in this first third of the year, you know what, I think I'm against it, but I'm going to go for this whole parenthood thing. And then in May, you start to really enjoy that experience, even if you haven't necessarily had the baby yet. You know, this could be you kind of getting used to the idea and coming around to it. On another level as well, this could see a lot of you, for those of you that are in this situation, some of you might be choosing to adopt. For some of you, you might be choosing to study something in the medical field, in the healing arts, which is definitely possible because you've got that temperance card there in the month before. So, and if you think about, like, these are laid out like this, but technically this is a circle, right? So it's, when you think about, like, these cards are actually coming up quite close to each other. For June, you have the Hermit card. And so June's going to be a bit of a slower month, right? And it's going to be a time where you probably want to be exercising patience, not just with other people, not just with yourself, but also with other people. Remember, this is going to be around the time of another Mercury retrograde in an air sign. So remember, these ones actually offer trines to you, okay? So even though it's a challenging energy, it could bring something back from the past. So think about where the sign of Gemini kind of falls in your chart, and, you know, what area that rules, what house it rules, because it could be bringing something back for review, or maybe even something back into the fold for you. This comes up with the High Priestess. I love seeing these two together. And the reason being is because I always say to people, if you want, whenever you see the Hermit card, this is about you making yourself quiet and still. And usually the Hermit card shows up when the High Priestess, your intuition, your psychic awareness has a message for you. June is a time to pay attention to your dreams if you can. Write a dream journal. Practice lucid dreaming. You know, ask yourself questions in dreams. What else is there? There's another thing that you can do with this as well. One thing that I used to do actually when I was younger, I don't do it anymore. I don't know why I stopped doing it actually, is I used to get to the point where I was kind of in my dream and I would call people into my dream and I would ask them questions. And because they were in the field of my dream, they couldn't lie to me. They had to tell me the truth. It's a very powerful technique. It's not easy to learn, but I tell you, it really is worth it. Just a little mojo for you there. With your High Priestess coupled with the Hermit card as well, for those of you that are wanting to study any sort, especially with these cards next to it, if you're wanting to study any of the psychic, you know, occult, mystical, magical arts, June is a very powerful time for you. You know, use that to your advantage because it could see you being a spiritual sponge in some respect. For June, you have the Star card, right? This is great. Look at this. So much easier time of the year. And this next sort of, you know, this next quarter of the year is actually much better. Your Star card in July is giving you a sense of optimism, it's giving you a sense of hope, and it's going to see you having a glimpse into your own future, or it will see you having an idea, or how an idea can start to become real. This is for those of you that are wanting to start online businesses or move your business online or gain more of an online presence. July is the month to do it, and this is great, right? Because you're coming off the back of that Mercury retrograde, so you're getting out of that energy into that sort of direct motion. That's coupled with your Four of Pentacles. So what this tells me is financially, you could do very well when it comes to an online business or moving your business online, or maybe creating more of a reach with that. What it also tells me as well is when it comes to your finances, this would be a time where you need to start being aware of what things are actually costing you and what your longer term financial goals actually are. This will see you being very, very clear about this, maybe even a little bit ruthless, you know, not with others, but certainly with yourself. It could be a time where you're being very shrewd about any online investments or financial investments. July, I want to say cryptocurrency, but I know that next year, 2021 in general, is going to be a little bit volatile when it comes to this, because there's going to be so much change it might be hard to pin something down. So if you're going to do that kind of thing, check in with a financial advisor, especially if you're going to be utilizing large sums of money. For those of you that are investors, July looks like a good month for you, especially a good month for technology in general. But I think this could be a month where we might even see some kind of censorship on the wider world stage, or we could see some sort of heavy regulation coming into the world or the land of crypto. So just something that you know, if you're into that kind of thing, you want to keep your eyes peeled for it. For August, you have the High Priestess again, right? So what is the High Priestess? She's not just your intuition and your psychic awareness, she's also hidden things revealed. This is where some information that was not privy to us, that we didn't know, that we didn't even have access to, is suddenly revealed, where something is shared with you that you didn't know before. And this comes up with the Hierophant card. So we're going to see some sort of on the wider world stage, we are going to see something revealed to the people. This could be something about the government, it could be something about the power structures, something about those could be changing, there could be new legislations coming in, there could be maybe something comes up and everybody's like, hang on a sec, where did that come from? Do you know what I mean? It's almost like it just springs up. There wasn't much sort of information about it. This could also see as well on a more global level than even that, this could see something taking place with religion and spirituality, or the faiths of the world is definitely, you know, could be coming up for review. Now on a personal level, on a microcosmic level, for a lot of you, whatever studies you are planning to get into, especially if they have something to do with the psychic or the spiritual arts, August could be a breakthrough month. I mean, that literally is, I mean, and the Hierophant itself can represent initiation, but coupled with the High Priestess card, this is true initiation. This is spiritual awareness. This is spiritual initiation. This is the moment where you go from being a novice at something into being, you know, not even gifted, but maybe an acolyte of some sort, or beyond an acolyte, actually, you know, becoming a fully fledged member. So, you know, for those of you that are looking to get into mystery traditions or even secret societies, you know, this could be your month. If, you know, just shameless plug here, but if you are interested, my tarot course will be coming next year, so, or in the year of 2021, so, and I'll be running a course around this time. So if you want to get qualified, or, you know, if you want to get in the know with something of that nature, these would be great months for you. Just saying. For September, you have the Temperance card. All right, so this is nice. What it's going to give you is a strong sense of how to utilize your energy, but it's also going to see you really paying attention to your ability to manifest things, right? So this could be a really powerful time for that as well. You might find that as you're speaking or as you're thinking, things are just showing up. So this is a time for you to be really conscious of what you're saying, what you're doing. It also could be a time where your healing journey, or your own personal healing journey, whatever that might look like, is really coming up for, not even coming up for review, but it's something that you're really starting to live on a deeper level. Your travel months so far are April. April looks like a month where you could definitely be traveling or connecting with somebody overseas. September could also be a month for that. And it comes up, look at that, with the Judgment card. That's really quite potent, actually. And this is going to be, I mean, I have to say, actually, out of all of the signs, you probably have, so far, from what I've seen, you probably have the most spiritual year. There's a lot taking place on a spiritual level for Libras this year, it appears, just with the cards that have come up. With your Judgment card as well, this is about, for a lot of you, if you are studying anything in the medical field, September is a month where you're going to need to keep your eyes peeled. So even if you're maybe not fully qualified, your skill could be called upon for something. Now, one thing that I do need to make you aware of, if you haven't seen them, I put out a series of 2021 life path videos. There's a link somewhere floating around. If you don't know your life path number, there is a video in the playlist that will show you how to calculate that. Watch them. And the reason I say this is because, don't watch all of them if you don't want to, but certainly watch your own. There were a lot of things that came up, like recurring messages throughout those that were, really quite interesting. September seems to be a month of challenge for the world in general, and I kind of feel like anybody who has a skill or a certain skill set is going to be called upon around the time of September. We're going to see some big shift happening on that wider world stage. On a personal level, this is definitely a healing journey. I think a lot of you who have had either chronic illnesses or things that you've struggled with for years, September could be a time of deliverance for you. And I think that this is probably because a part of your spirituality or is either waking up or is finally being utilized or expressed. September looks like a powerful month for you. For October, you have the Chariot card. Okay, love this. What this kind of gives me more than anything is those, look at that. This could also be a time as well where a lot of you are passing exams, especially with the Temperance card there, especially with the Judgment card. This could definitely be the passing of his exams or the culmination or the completion of your knowledge in some respect. This comes up with the 5 of Cups. So October is a time where you want to be really careful around driving or cars or any form of travel. Whatever you were planning for October as well. Because look, you got the 5 of Cups and it's right close to that Judgment card. That can sometimes be an actual loss. I don't think this is going to be a personal one. I think it's going to be one that happens on the wider world stage. We could be losing somebody, maybe somebody that's really loved, somebody that's very well revered, or maybe even somebody who's very well known for a contribution that they brought to the world. So that's something to watch for, on the wider world stage. On a personal level, please, 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 October is not a month to be crazy or reckless with driving. If you are traveling in any respect, for some of you, you could be traveling due to news that somebody has passed. And I'm sorry to give you that news, but it may be that that's the way that it comes about. Also, when it comes to your vehicle, October could be a month where you're either having to buy a new car or get the car that you have currently repaired. If you are getting it repaired, remember this is a Mercury retrograde month, so you probably want to make sure. If it's a problem that's been recurring or, has come up previously, then it's a great time to do it. If not, you're going to have to try and wait till after that retrograde passes to really get to the nitty-gritty of the problem. For your November, you have the Strength card. All right, so energy, vigor, power and poise come up for you in November. And November, you could be really standing your ground on something. It kind of feels like you are. It's almost like you're putting your foot down and saying, right, this has gone far enough, or I've dealt with this for long enough. I'm not doing it anymore. And this comes up with the 3 of Wands. So November could be a time of travel for you as well. This is really interesting because this only happened for one other sign. Whatever travel you're possibly making here in October, it looks like it carries over into November. So maybe you're traveling at the end of October, and then wherever you are, you're having to stay there for an extended time. I will definitely say this. November is a travel month for you. It's a definite travel month for you that's coming up. What I can also tell you as well is when I say you're putting your foot down, this could have something to do with a business, with a partnership. It could be something to do with the way that you choose to do things. It kind of feels like maybe something that you want to do or the way that you do something comes under question. And there's a part of you that says, no, this is how I'm doing it. You're either on board or you're not. I don't care which it is, but this is the way that it is, right? For your December 2021, you have the Fool card. This is very interesting. This card came up a lot for December, which I'm taking this to mean I get this sense that sort of November and December 2021, we're going to see something happening with the world currencies. This could be a month certainly where they're trying to push something forward, where maybe we're adopting something new, something different, something novel. And for some of you, like, this is a big change or a grand rewrite. And then look at that. You've got the Death card, right on top of that Fool card. So that is, it's the end of something. It's a completion and it's a final culmination. This is a moment where something may shockingly come to an end. This could be on the wider world stage, on a personal level. This is about you. It could be about a really big realization for yourself. And I say this because the Fool card is new things, places, people and energy, or an inspiration, right? And the Death card is the end or the transformation or completion of something. So when I put these two together, I kind of get this sense that maybe the way that you viewed yourself up until now, I mean, we knew this was happening, right, from the start, but the way that you finished the year out, it's like you realize something and you just adjust, or you cut something off completely just to say, right, I'm done with that, and on to the next. So for your key to the year, you have, and this is kind of like a background energy trend or theme, and your jumping card is the Judgment card, or the Eon in this, right? And what does that represent? So what this talks about is something not only like coming full cycle or changing, it's more a case of the Eon is like where you step into a new era of life. Now we're all stepping into a new one anyway because of that great conjunction that took place in December 2020. But when you have this card as your sort of key to the year, the energy that comes through here is change. This is about coming into a new phase, a new era of who you are, of how you present yourself to the world, what you're known for and what you choose to do. The other thing with the Eon as well, what does this represent? It represents an age. It represents a time gone by and a new time that's coming in. So a lot of people say we're moving into the age of Aquarius. I don't personally believe that's going to truly begin until Pluto moves into Aquarius. But that's just me. But yeah, you know, we could definitely call it that because the great conjunction took place in the sign of Aquarius. So this is a new era, Libra. It's a new time. What are you going to do with it? With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have an amazing year. Check in month by month, or do it every 6 months. I know a lot of people do it that way, to see how it works out for you. Let me know in the comments. Take care, and I'll see you soon.